You can see our stage is getting a little bit too small for us. So that I stay on track, I wrote a whole bunch of notes. I'm going to go ahead and do most of my talking now and spare you the long speech at the end. So actually, welcome. First of all, welcome to our final concert of the year. This is traditionally what started last year has now become our tradition. This is going to be our tradition, and it is our senior recognition concert. And we have a small senior class, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about each of our seniors before they get recognized. And before I do that, I'd like to go ahead and start with some people I'd like to acknowledge. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Lori Range. I know you're here. Lori, where are you? Lori, yes. Lori organized our first major fundraiser, in fact, our biggest fundraiser of the year at Page Mill Winery, and she really did all of the work with that. And I said, she brought it to my attention. I said, as long as you're willing to do all of it, and she did, and she organized all of it, and I'm so really, really thankful that you did that for us. And that brought in excess of $700. So thank you, Lori. Can we give her one more round of applause? So that was most recent. In the early part of the year, when we decided we were going to go with these and these lovely dresses, and this was completely new. Formal attire was new for us. It was a process, and part of that process was a lot of help from parents. And in particular, I want to thank actually Carolyn Baker. Are you here, Carolyn? It's hard to see from up here because of the light. Carolyn, can we give Carolyn a round of applause? If there was anyone that I needed to turn to get dresses or tuxedos altered, she answered the call the quickest and was there for any of the needs that we had. But also, let's give a round of applause to all the parents that supported our concert attire alterations and just the purchase of new concert attire. Okay. Also, I'd like to thank just really all of the volunteer parents, all of you who have volunteered many hours of your time just to come in, and if it meant that you came in to work with our jazz band, or if you came in at the last minute to set up, that lovely table. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and thank her now, and that's Mrs. Ransom, who's right here. So thank you, Ms. Ransom, for setting up our concessions table back there. And finally, I will save my bit about boosters towards intermission because it's really important that you know about boosters, but I'll save that. For now, I leave you with this, and that is our first senior of the night. There are two in this band. And the first one, he's going to conduct our very first piece, which you may have heard before because it is just one of the most immaculate melodies you'll ever hear and remember till the day you die. And that is it's Danny Boy, but otherwise known as Irish Tune from County Derry. And this is the arrangement that Percy Granger wrote. And this is actually a really, really sophisticated piece. And so before Peter comes up here, I'd just like to tell you a little bit about him. Peter is very quiet, but he leads completely by example. There was one instance where in jazz band, he had to reprimand another trumpet player, and I did not see this coming. And in a moment of just laughter across the band, he grabbed the next trumpet player next to him. I think it was concert band. He grabbed him, pulled him back, yanked him back very aggressively, and without a smile on his face. And I thought, wow, who is that person? Peter McElroy. He leads by example. He's become an increasingly stronger player, and he's not wary of trying anything new. He's very much just open to doing anything. And I said, Peter, do you want to direct Irish Tune? And without even like a flinch, he said, I'll do it. And anytime he takes a solo in jazz band, and you'll hear him later tonight, he just does it. He doesn't complain. He doesn't think about how could I fail in this, or what could happen to me. He just does it. And so I admire just his steady, consistent work ethic and the demeanor in which he gets that work done. So without further ado, I'd like to give to you and present to you our first senior directed piece of the night, and that is directed by Peter McElroy. This is Percy Granger's Irish Tune. Thank you. That last piece, it's not written in the program, but that featured an oboe solo, and that was Ethan Epperly right here behind me. Ethan Epperly. So that was Variations on a Korean Folk Song, and that was actually not the whole song in its entirety, and that was, I think, the first four movements, and the last movement is insanely difficult, which is why we chose not to do it. So we're going to go on with the program. The next piece is also another lovely folk song. It's a slow-moving piece, and it should make you think of just rolling waters. And this is called Shenandoah. Okay, so somehow I've lost my notes in the shuffle, so I'm just going to just speak from the heart. And the next person, and our last senior from concert band, is Athena. Athena, where do we start? Athena last year played clarinet in this group, and last year also played in orchestra. She played flute in orchestra, sometimes piccolo. This year, just concert band, so she plays flute, but also doubles on piccolo, and actually played a big role in our musical, and where she doubled on a lot of different reeds, piccolo, flute, and clarinet. So she was a triple threat, so to speak. And what strikes me about Athena is she is genuinely invested in the culture of this school. And this is a new school, we're a young school. But when I think about the many students that go to this school, and especially the older ones, right? The ones that are genuinely, they want to not just help the teacher, help their fellow student, but they want to help this place grow. She's one of those people. And so, just for example, this didn't pan out, but she threw this idea out at early in the year for me to present to Mr. Stern, our middle school teacher. And she said, why don't we get with the middle school, we'll have a day together, and we'll learn each other's music. And I thought it was a great idea. And it was just one of those ideas that we couldn't get off the ground for various reasons. And at this point, it doesn't matter. But it's ideas like that, just really thoughtful ideas about not just what would be fun, but what would help this school grow. And so that's probably what really strikes me about Athena. That and just really her involvement throughout school. I'm just her band teacher, but I've seen her study in my room, ASL. She's very good at ASL, and I think at one point Chinese. You were taking Chinese, in addition to that, cheerleading. So she's busy, but she always comes to class and always well prepared, and that's Athena Thomas. So I gave Athena this piece because she strikes me as someone that also loves musicals. And so we're going to do a piece from a really hot musical right now that's called Wicked. And this piece is her piece. This is called Defying Gravity. Okay, so we have one final piece, and you're going to see all parts of the band stand up for this one. We're just going to treat this like a party piece. Before we perform this piece, during intermission, we need to do a little switcheroo with jazz band, and this is kind of new for us. It may take about 10-15 minutes to kind of change the setup. At that time, you're welcome to check out the concession stands and, of course, just relax and use the restrooms. If you need to use the restrooms, I think the staff restroom is open over here, which I can direct you to if you don't know where that is. All right, this is the last portion, last piece of concert band, and this is called Carnaval de Sao Paulo.